Hey, Shalom. All right, so I just split it up into two parts because that was kind of a separate thought, you know what I'm saying? But back and Salaki for going on a tangent, but it's just man, it's a beautiful thing to be in this truth, you know what I'm saying? All of the little nuances and understanding that the Lord has given us and taking full advantage of it, man, every day. Every day that we're in this fire, we're in this tribulation, which is put on us, man, because the scriptures say what? If you don't, if the Lord ain't putting you through no tribulation, man, you're not one of His sons. You're a bastard, all right. And Esau's been able to live up, you know, live it up according to wickedness. All right, but without further ado, this is going back into what I mentioned. First Maccabees, was it 8-3? All right, these particular mines that the Romans were in. All right, because they found the ruins. Of course, Esau. When you look up a lot of these study tools, and it's not Jake who put them up. It's actually Esau. With a lot of the information, which a lot of it you got to pick out the bones, but a lot of the information that's already out here is because Esau went back and they looked to see what was true and what was not. All right, but with these mines of Spain, I'm gonna just read this article. It says this is basically what helped make Rome great. It said usually when you think of Roman ruins in Spain and elsewhere, and I believe these mines lasted them for like 250 years. It said usually things like crumbling mosaics, blah blah blah. Let's get to the good part. This is why I was so surprised when I visited Las Medulas, all that is left of the largest gold mine in the Roman Empire. All right. Although the modern Spanish word medulla can mean bone marrow or spinal cord, the name for these mining ruins probably comes from the Latin medulla, the diminutive form of the word meta, which means cone or pyramid. There's that pyramid again, man. Esau's always creating, looking for pyramids, obelisks and pyramids. It said, which makes sense given the otherworldly rock formations, and that makes sense because during the time of Rome, the language they were speaking was Latin. All of the different romantic languages now are pretty much basically over the courses of hundreds of years, the language has changed. All right. So that makes sense, man, that going back into the Latin, it means cone or pyramid, which these rocks do kind of look like, pyramids, and we know how Esau gets down. It's hidden away from the rugged Bierzo region in northwestern Leon province. The open pit mine has sliced through whole mountainsides, leaving the stark orange clay faces we see today. From the Mirador lookout points, you can almost trace the former swoops and curves, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the point, man. Let's get to the money. Let's see what made Rome great and gave Esau the power to quiet the whole earth. It said once Augustus had incorporated northwestern Hispania into the empire, which it took them hundreds of years because they were fighting against the Celts, which many of them we know was Jake. It took them hundreds of years to capture this area. It said once Augustus had incorporated, which Augustus Caesar, basically he was the one in Luke 2:1 who calls forth for a census. He was Caesar during the time that the Lord was born. It said what? Luke 2:1, and it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria, and all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. All right, and then so they set up what's it called? Publicans and these different people who were responsible for the taxes of the different regions, and that goes into something else. But it's just interesting how all history And when you look at the operation of Esau, you know what I'm saying, a lot of these things that they did then, they're doing the same things now. All right, especially with everything going digital, they're changing around, playing with interest rates and changing all this stuff around. All right, until eventually, people are going to want to take that mark and not able to be able to buy and sell continually. All right, but back to this, it says once Augustus had incorporated northwestern Hispania into the empire, the Romans used Las Medulas as their main source of gold for the next 250 years, approximately 5 million Roman pounds, and that's exactly how the Romans were able to have all of that gold. They were able to mint currency. Okay, damn, what's the name of the Oh, that's right. It was the Aurus. It was the Aurus. Then you had the silver, which was the denarius. But it says the Romans used Las Medulas as their main source of gold for the next 250 years. Approximately 5 million Roman pounds were extracted from the area during that time, or 1.6 kilos of raw gold ore. And when you're looking at building an empire, that's one of the reasons why the South went to war. When it was said that slaves had to be free, and you need money. It takes money to start up. It takes money to commission these engineers and architects and people to they had to sculpt stone monuments, buildings. It took a lot of money for them to be able to do that. All right, and the Lord blessed them, with the sight to be able to find all of this stuff, which this region was this basically they had to fight against the Celts. You know what I'm saying? But it said what? So how did they do it? I'm still not clear on that process work myself, but the Romans used the Ruina Montium method to get at the area's alluvial gold deposits. Basically, it said they took advantage of the power of water to break down both the topsoil and bedrock to expose gold veins. Basically, they rerouted certain water, into the area where they thought it might be gold, and then they used erosion, to knock that off, and then they would strain, the gold out that way. All right. Yeah, water from springs, rains, and melting snow was collected in large reservoirs, which led by a system of well-built gravity canals to the mines themselves over long distances. Galleries were cut into the sterile strata many meters deep that overlaid the layers of auriferous conglomerate. When the slices of the dams were opened, enormous quantities of water flowed into the galleries, which were closed at the ends. The pressure thus built up caused the rock to explode and to be washed away by the water flow. And Esau, the Lord said, man, behold, I've created the smith. And the Lord, Esau, Edom, one thing they can't say is that the Lord did not bless them, man. The Lord blessed them with a certain understanding for, sciences. And we know, Jacob was there for the former of all that, these different teachers of so-called famous teachers of Rome. We know a lot of them were Jake, which they whitewashed them as well. All right, which is why it's funny that you have Jake in the same lot today, which if we were here long enough, they will whitewash you too. All right, Colin Powell. If we were here for 1,000 years, they will whitewash him. Hey, even the sports figures, like the apostles always say, Michael Jordan. If we were here long enough, Esau will whitewash them, right? Because there would be too many Black, Native American, and Latinos, to identify as a part of the greatness of this place. Esau always has to try to maintain that authority, as him being the top dog. All right. Hey, but Lord willing, this is edifying, man. Just interesting information. You know what I'm saying? Every time Esau has ever come up, even when they came here, they came to the Caribbean, they came through Puerto Rico, and a lot of these islands had a lot of gold on them, a lot of silver, a lot of natural resources where the tribes were staying. All right. And a lot of our people, are seeking that same stuff today. All right. As scriptures talk about, us standing on our lot, that's very interesting, man. That's higher wisdom than us. Okay. Like you got this new movie with Mark Wahlberg coming out where basically it's about that, which I got to see that. It's about reincarnation. All right. Which it's gonna happen until the end of time. All right, your spirit will always come back into your body unless you're perfect, and then which is what's gonna happen with Israel, and then you'll never die. Hey, so all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone rule well. Lord, what is edifying, Shalom.